So we will see how to construct first set first and then the follow sets. It is very important. You have to concentrate on this because even in the bottom up parser, you need the construction of first set and the follow set. So if you want to go with the very much general notations of construction of this set, then you can refer the book. To make it easier, I will give you a couple of rules how to generate the first set, which will be helpful for you to understand it. First, go through the rules. We'll solve some problems. Then you can go with the formal notation which is there in the book. Otherwise, it is quite difficult to understand. Okay. So all of you can make a note of this. Rules for um, creating.
So, ma'am, in the previous one, the
Hmm.
modified recursive descent parsing,
Hmm.
we have to, instead of error, we have to replace that by looking up for next production.
Yeah.
So that will count as predictive parsing, or
No,
will that still remain as recursive descent parsing?
recursive descent only because it requires backtracking.
Yeah. So
Predictive
in
parsing, there is no backtracking.
okay, so predictive parsing, we just go about matching it, sort of like what is
Predictive
required and
parsing takes a decision which production to choose based on the table. So we have to construct a table for all
okay,
the
ma'am.
terminals and non-terminals. And then to construct that table, we need this set.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now the first rule when you are for all the non-terminals in a given grammar, you have to go through these rules and create the first set and the follow set for both the for every non-terminal in the given grammar. So first we will see first set and then we'll go for follow set. Okay, so first off, A is a set containing A where A is a terminal. So the meaning is very simple. If the first set of a terminal we are trying to find out, then the set is the terminal itself. Okay. Then if the first set we are trying to find out on non-terminal, then it contains A if we have a production of the form A alpha. Okay. Where A is a terminal. Understood? So first set of a non-terminal A is a set A if at all if I have a production something like A derives A gives A alpha. Alpha is a set of terminals and non-terminals, but the leftmost symbol is a terminal. Okay, then that terminal will be there in the first set of a non-terminal A. Okay, these two are pretty simple. Now, if I have a production in this way, B alpha, this is also possible, right? So B is a non-terminal here and it doesn't produce or it doesn't have a epsilon production in B or for non-terminal B. Then how do you find out first of A is a question. Okay, then it is first of B. Okay, so if you have in this way, if the leftmost symbol in the body of the production for A is a non-terminal, then if it is not producing epsilon, then the first of A is you have to find out the first set of B because always the first set and the follow set will contain a set of terminals. You cannot have non-terminal in the set. Okay, so first of B is nothing but first of A in that case. All right. Now a little more complicated. If A is having B alpha and B has epsilon production, then what is the set? So that means if I'm trying to find out from A what are all the terminals I can reach, that is what, using the leftmost derivation, that is what we are trying to find out in first set. Okay, so with respect to this rule, it says first of A is first of B because it's there in the leftmost end. Okay, first of B, and I shouldn't include epsilon here. Okay, I'll tell you why. And there is one more rule because of which I cannot use epsilon. Because B is deriving epsilon, so you may think that epsilon will come in the first set of A. Definitely for B, in the first set of B, epsilon will come. But for first set of A, even if you are taking first set of B, you have to remove epsilon from there. Then union first of alpha. Why is this? Because if I substitute epsilon here, from A, I can also see these strings terminals which can be reached from the beginning of alpha. So that's why first of alpha will also be there in the set of first of A when B is deriving epsilon. Okay, this will get more clear when we solve a problem. So if A is directly deriving epsilon, so in this case, A wasn't giving epsilon directly. It was indirect because A can give B, B can give epsilon. But if at all, if you have A directly gives epsilon, then first of A will have epsilon in the set. Okay. The last one is if in this case, alpha is not giving epsilon, right? So if at all, if I have epsilon, so A produces B alpha, where B derives epsilon, and all the non-terminals in alpha can derive epsilon, then first of A will have first of B union first of alpha union epsilon. Remember, alpha, if it's a set of strings containing the non-terminals, and all the non-terminals are deriving epsilon, then only you can have epsilon. Even if you have one terminal in between, then you cannot write epsilon here. Okay, all the strings in alpha should contain all the non-terminals, which all of them should derive epsilon, then only you can include them. These are the 6 rules, golden rules for calculating the first set. If you go through the book, you will go mad. They've given only 3, but all the 3 are very complicated, apart from first and the last one.
Ma'am, is it
Okay,
that in rule
now,
3 and 4, alpha does not derive epsilon?
yeah, alpha, you want me to say this? Alpha, no, it doesn't. In this case, whether alpha derives or doesn't derive doesn't matter because B itself doesn't derive epsilon. So from A, I cannot reach alpha itself. Okay,
Okay.
but here, yeah, alpha doesn't derive epsilon. Okay, now you take down a problem. We'll go with this smaller problem first, then we'll go with that arithmetic expression grammar. That is your homework you have to do. Take this grammar. A, B, C or D. A derives, let me see how many of you understood this. C. So now how do you start? For each non-terminal S, A, B, C in the grammar, you have to find out the first set. So you have to see first of A, or you can say Fi of A. That is also fine. Take this, go with one by one non-terminal. For each non-terminal, go with one by one production. So take this production and tell me what will be there in the set. Which is the first rule which I have to go with?
Ma'am, we don't do first of S.
Sorry, first of S only. So yeah, it's Fi of S. Sorry.
Ma'am, before that,
A, B,
one
and C.
thing, one doubt.
Hmm.
Like the rule 4, what you have written is like rule 4 only. It's basically nothing but eliminating the nullable productions of the grammar, right? Like if you're taking first of B minus epsilon and union first of alpha, it's basically like eliminating the nullable productions. So would it be okay if we eliminate the nullable productions in the grammar directly and then create the first set?
No. You are not supposed to do all those things. It will complicate further, right? Because you have several methods to remove so many things from the grammar, but the time is wasted there. So minimum effort we will put to the grammar so that it is. See, the main motive for finding out this set is to construct the passing table. That's all. So why you want to change the grammar itself? It's not required. I'm just checking from S, what are the terminals I can reach if I have a leftmost derivation. That is my point. I need not change the grammar for that, isn't it? I just want
Yeah,
the term.
I thought I'd make it easy for myself to write the answer.
No. It is to see what are all the terminals I can reach if I start with S by applying leftmost derivation. Okay, that is the first set.
Yeah, got it. Got it.
Okay, so F first set of S is what? What is the leftmost symbol here? It's capital A. That is the non-terminal, right? So it is definitely first of A, right? So if I substitute A is deriving epsilon. So if I substitute epsilon here, I can also see first of B. B is also deriving epsilon. So if I put epsilon here, I can also see these things which can be generated from C using a leftmost derivation, right? So it is union first of C. But C is not deriving epsilon. So it is minus epsilon. If C was deriving epsilon, then we have to include epsilon in the first set of S. So what is first a set of A? It's again, so I cannot fill this until I write the first set for A. So first set of A is, what is that here? Take this production. It is first of A. Union first of, we take this production, epsilon. So first of a terminal is, with respect to this rule, it is
Is there anything like first of epsilon, or is it just directly epsilon?
Epsilon, first of epsilon is epsilon only. Or you can go with this fifth rule and write directly. Okay. First of epsilon is epsilon only. Okay, so since it is minus epsilon for the first set of S, only A has to be considered in the set for first of S. Still, it is not complete because first of B also we require. So first of B is, take this production,
Ma'am, why
first
did
of
we do minus of epsilon there in the above one?
because of fourth rule. Since all ABC are not deriving epsilon and S is not directly deriving epsilon, so first set of S cannot have epsilon in its set.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So this is B because it's first rule. First set of a terminal is the terminal itself and epsilon. So epsilon I cannot write. So B. Now still I cannot complete for first set of S because I require first set of C also. So Fi of C is first of C. So it is the set C. So A, B, C. Then it is not complete because only this production we have considered. S is deriving D. So first of, so here also I have to write first of D. Okay, because of this production. So it is D itself. Now it is complete. So first set of S is A, B, C, D. First of A is A epsilon and B, first of B is B epsilon. Then first of C is C. Okay. Just try to understand. Okay. I will give you one more. S producing AAAB, BBBA. A produces epsilon and B produces epsilon. Take us another 5 minutes to compute the first set for all the non-terminals.
First of S is A and B. Is it?
First of S is first of A, first of B, first of A is epsilon and first of B is epsilon, but alpha is not producing epsilon because you have terminals in between. So if you substitute epsilon in place of A, from S you can see small a. So it will match with second rule, right? So you will see A. And the same case with this, nothing else, because after that it's a terminal, right? So we can't go further. B also the same thing. For first set of B has epsilon, but the rest is not deriving epsilon, so I cannot include epsilon in the set. So if I substitute epsilon in place of B, I can see B from S using leftmost derivation. So B will be there in the first set of S. Good. Then first of A is epsilon and first of B is epsilon. Very good. Now you take that arithmetic expression in grammar and try to find out for E, E dash, T, T dash and F. All of you.
Ma'am, I didn't get that this thing. Like you did first is like if you consider the fourth rule, A derives B alpha and alpha is not deriving epsilon. So A is deriving alpha, so A is deriving epsilon. So A, capital A, and B is not deriving epsilon. So you put the fourth rule, I guess, right? Okay, so like first of, it should be like first of A minus epsilon union first of alpha. So epsilon minus
First of alpha,
epsilon.
what is there?
Yeah, how to, like I didn't get how to do that.
First of, if you take A, B, then I don't have a non-terminal right here.
Yes,
So, in the beginning only you have a terminal. So always we consider what is there on the leftmost side. So it is a terminal. If it is a non-terminal, then we go with first of that non-terminal, like how we did
okay,
for
then the rest part like capital A and B are like ignored.
non-reachable. From S, it is non-reachable, right?
Okay, okay.
Okay. From we are trying to see if I derive leftmost derivation, what are all the terminals I can reach. So to do that, I can always replace only the leftmost symbol. Okay. So if I replace A with epsilon, I can reach small a. Only for the leftmost symbol, not further. So if I had fi of capital A, instead of having small a first, if I had a capital A here, then I have to take the first set of A. And if A is deriving epsilon, put epsilon and take the first set of A. It continues. Recursively, you may have to do if epsilon productions are there. Okay. And please remember this mistake everybody does. If you have this kind, that's why specifically I've considered this. Nowhere in the book you have these examples. Okay, they take only that arithmetic expression one. It doesn't cover all types of the things. So if you have formally they will define and they will leave it off. So if you have ABC kind of this production and C is not deriving epsilon, first set will never have epsilon, even though from A and B you can reach epsilon. Remember that all the grammar symbols in the production should derive epsilon, then only you can add that in the first set of S. Definitely for A, if it is directly deriving epsilon, right? So the first set of A will have epsilon. Since S is not directly deriving epsilon and neither A, B, C, all of them derive epsilon because C doesn't derive epsilon, epsilon will not be there in the first set of S. Remember this. Okay, I'll just remove this part and write that
So,
down
ma'am,
for
if it was C derives C or epsilon, then epsilon would have been there in S.
yes. And also there in the first set of C.
Yes, ma'am. And
Okay.
along with D itself, epsilon would have been there.
Yes,
Like
yes,
A, B, C, D, and epsilon.
epsilon. Yes, absolutely. To
Yes, ma'am.
understand it in a very better way, please do that arithmetic expression one. All of you, I'll just quickly take the attendance, then I'll come back.